My name is Scott Rutledge, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的直击美股，我是主持人张叔，在纽约向您问好。周三美股收跌，我们看到今天美联储主席耶伦是连续第二天在国会作证讲话，尽管他的言论依然是非常的鸽派，但是不足以提振今天的市场。在今天的一个作证讲话中，他提到对于美国当前的就业市场，他认为之前的就业报告只是暂时性的，并且对美国经济未来的增长保有信心。但另外一方面，我们看到现在股市缺乏上涨的领头羊，比如说像科技板块，今天包括像亚马逊以及特斯拉的一个大幅度的下跌，是使得整体的市场都在承压。好的，更多的消息，让我们来看一下今天交易员的独家分析。Hi Scott, your stocks traded mildly lower because of the weight by this energy stocks and also the UK vote on the Brexit. So how do you think about the current situation?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, without the binary event, how did the charts look?
Okay.
And today it looked as if we were trying to rally, and then all of a sudden around 11:30 there was a new poll that stated, there was a little bit more of a favor to leaving versus staying, and then all of a sudden, technically, a lot of indices that were above the past few sessions highs failed. So if you just look at the charts, today gave you a sell signal. If you look at the chart of the SPX, you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, you have basically like a wedge type formation here where it's trying to figure out what to do next. And the last few times it got up to resistance, it failed. Not saying it means game over, but before this event, there's a little bit of caution. So to me, this move in the SPX, could have got some people out at least until tomorrow to figure out what's next. But overall, the S&P is a little bit putting in a lower high here, and now we'll see what tomorrow brings. But for now, I think a lot of guys are kind of neutral and waiting to see what's next.
On the other hand, we see the tech sector failed to hold the morning gains, and we see some broken names such as Amazon and Tesla. So, but Amazon stay above 710. So, do you think the momentum is still there?
High beta tech or FANG as a whole is starting to look wishy-washy. Okay. Amazon is strong, but it's like by itself. Okay, so I've been trying to figure out what to do next here, but I like to be long these things when they're above the 8 and 21-day moving average, when they look like they're going to break out. That usually shows market strength, but no, we're slowly losing leadership. Okay, look at Tesla. Tesla had a big gap down. Thank goodness it was below the moving averages, so traders are probably not long it. Closed near the low, so Tesla's broken and it's in a void for a while. Okay, you look at something like Google. Google, isn't trading with momentum. It's actually at the bottom end of the range. So yes, buying at the bottom end of the range sometimes been better, but this to me, is not showing momentum. It's not showing strength, and look where it is. So it's hovering at the 200 days, so a little vulnerable. This broke its ascending channel here. Then you mentioned Amazon. Amazon is strong, but can it do it by itself? Not that easy to do. So as long as Amazon stays above this spot, it's hard to be bearish, but it doesn't mean like it's ready to break out. And then you go to Facebook. Facebook also, broke its upper level, broke this earnings support. It's now hovering below it. So the longer it stays below it, the more vulnerable it could be to be breaking this trend line here. So at this point, I think there's not a lot of momentum out there, so it's better to be a bit more cautious than all in long or a little bit too excited.
Okay, and for commodities, U.S. crude oil traded lower and gold traded higher. So do you think it's because we are approaching Thursday? That's the reason?
Yeah, there's a little fear. Plus oil just had a 3-day move, so I don't think it's the end of the world that oil came in a little bit. But if you have a thesis for gold and the miners and even bonds, today was a day that you should have covered some shorts and maybe looked a little long. Let me just give you a quick little look. You look at GLD. GLD, gave you a sell signal when it couldn't break out and hold above here. And then we talked about, kind of to hold this gap. So this is a spot to maybe, get a little, a little long, versus, or at least cover your short. And then if you look at the TLTs, we talked about the topping tail here. This was your topping tail. This was your get out around 137. And what did this do? Came in, held the 21 days. So this is your cover. And maybe if we see a reversal in the market, it can go up. So at this point, I feel like there's lots of mixed signals, lots of divergences. So if you're a short-term active trader for cash flow, it's better to be flat and trade intraday versus putting yourself at risk.
Okay, for the market right now, can you see any bright spots? Yeah, because the healthcare sector, they lead the gains in the morning. Though it fell, do you think this sector is still worth the trust?
Well, it's been the most broken. It tried to bounce. I was long the IBBs. I was long the LBAU. And, you know, for a one-day bounce with that kind of news, you wouldn't think it would have faded. And if you look at the IBBs, you know, definitely tried to give you something here, but this is a broken sector below the 200-day, below all this, and if the market was to falter here, okay, this big-time support could get vulnerable. So if you want to trade versus, you know, this 250-ish area, be careful because it's still in a big downtrend below the 200-day, below momentum moving averages, and unless the market has a big rally after, if they stay, you know, it's going to be very vulnerable to lower prices.
Okay, we're running out of time.
So we'll figure out what to do tomorrow and try and connect the dots and, you know, see what's next on the horizon.
好的，感谢您的收看，我们明天再见。